Interviews, what's going on, going back in, all of that fun stuff.
This might upset a few people and bring up past traumas. So please be mindful. If you want to continue, feel free. If you think that it might be too much for you, I would say maybe, put on the brakes right now, because a couple of things that Amber says is just more than. Anyway, what hasn't she said?
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Yep.
I know he promised it. I testified to this. I'm not a good victim. I get it.
Oh, God.
Likeable victim. I'm not a perfect victim, but
I'm going to stop right there.
Can we just go over the fact that she did not answer the question?
I know he promised to do it. I know I'm not the perfect victim. I know I'm not a good victim.
Oh my God, Nicole, are you the perfect victim?
I didn't know there was one.
I never thought about that.
Who's thought about that? Let me see. Oh, somebody that's lying and wants to portray the ultimate victim.
Yeah.
That's the only person that would be considered the perfect victim. Somebody who is doing a role.
Who would ever say I'm not the perfect victim in a situation where you are horribly abused?
Right? That's not what you're thinking about
That's
at all.
no. What?
I don't even think I've used that as a comeback. Like if that individual that was coming at me and I turned around and said, I'm sorry, I'm not the perfect victim. Like, I don't think I've ever said that.
victim. I'm not
Likable.
victim.
Are you looking to be likable when you're a victim? I'm just curious.
I don't even think you like yourself when you're a victim a lot of the times, depending on your self-esteem, because I'm still working on that.
Having been found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about what you can say now?
I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him for defamation?
Absolutely.
I'm scared that
No, she's not.
no matter
She
what,
shook her head no.
no matter
Oh,
what,
did she? I missed it.
that
Like,
Be sued again by him for defamation?
I'm scared that
it was
no
like
matter
a
what I do,
Huh.
no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take,
Every move I make,
opportunity.
I'll be watching you. Sorry. Jeez. I just can't. It's so phony. Oh my God. I'm so scared because I thought I had First Amendment rights. Listen, you do, as long as you're not lying. And if the jury already found that you are not credible, you can't repeat those. You can't. You have to avoid those. Oh my God.
Someone needs to tell her that. Maybe like her lawyer.
Did I show you? I showed you. She's writing a book now.
Yeah,
She's
you
going to
should.
write a book. Unbelievable. I'll have to put that in here. I think my earring just went AWOL. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. It's all
one.
magnetic. Oh my God, this is crazy.
Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
Hang on.
Oh no. You need to put that in where she said it was, that's why I wrote it.
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power?
But it alluded to him. It was unmistakable.
Yes.
What the op-ed was about was, me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry? Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
Right.
Obviously knew it's important for me not to make it about him or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers.
I obviously knew. So she knew it was going to stir something up.
So we also do the whole spiritual side. What do you think is this whole situation
Do
going
you
on back
mean
there?
the interview aspect of things?
Just her
Or the
in
whole?
general. Just her in general. I don't.
Honestly, I've said this once before. They have karmic issues from the past, and
Oh,
she legitimately does not see anything she's doing wrong. This had to play out the way that it played out. Unfortunately, it had to. She took it to another level, but this lifetime for her was meant to finally take the wool from her eyes and make her look at her own transgressions, because I feel like she's had multiple lives where she's done something similar as to put herself on top of other people. Honestly, I really think from a psychological standpoint, you think of a tiger finding its prey. I know when I was 16 to 18 that I would purposely um, target men because of my abuse, and she was abused as a child, but
mm,
because of my abuse and my father and her father abused her, um, I would purposely target powerful men or men that, were jocks, and I would get into their good graces and then tear them down because I wanted their ego so small that it was in pieces. And I literally targeted. She said in the very beginning of the trial that she liked the same things he liked. She did the same things he did, all his older music. But then by the end of it, there's witness testimony saying that she didn't want to hang out with him and his buddies because they were all old and they all had old taste in music. So that tells me she targeted him from the get-go. He had money, he had fame, everybody was all about him,
I agree.
and he provided for her. And that's really what she's missing. I don't honestly think that she knows how to actually love truthfully, unconditionally. Even her child, I think there's going to be some issues. Her version or her perversion of what love actually means, it's not what she and Johnny had. She keeps saying she loves him, she loves him, she loves him. Present tense, mind you, and we're going to find that out in a minute. But the problem is that her version of love does not exist. It's not a thing. It's not the actual definition of love unconditionally.
Mhm.
You lift each other up. You're positive to each other. You try to help each other. All those negative things that happen when you quote unquote love somebody are all your insecurities, all your doubts, all your fears, and any other, past issues that you have inside yourself that you got to work on or they have to work on theirs. Those are all your burdens. That's not love. Love is not any of that. So for her to sit there and say, oh, he's the person that I love the most in my entire life. No, honey. We've determined you're materialistic. We've determined you got whatever you wanted, anytime you wanted, all those houses, all those cars, as much money as you wanted. You spent to your heart's content, and now you lost it. And so now she's grieving and she's mad that he put it on TV because now everybody else can see it. He wanted everyone to know, like, listen, this is the crap that I've been dealing with. And now you get to see it.
I feel like you placed that very well. To me, it's obviously karmic. Everything's karmic when it comes to something as heavy as this. I do feel like this is causing a huge self-reflection, a
Yes.
huge deeper connection with self. I am hoping for the best for her in the end.
Yeah, you don't want to be that.
Oh
From a
yeah.
spiritual standpoint, you don't want to wish anybody ill. You want them to wake up. Now, it might cause them a lot of pain to wake up,
Hmm.
but you want them to wake up and you want the best from them. Here's the other thing is that she used to break horses.
Yeah.
That's not an easy job. That is exactly how I feel she looked at Johnny.
And I do kind of, a part of me wonders, because I know with me, I'm a fixer.
Right. Trying to fix him.
So I do wonder if it kind of started out like that, but then the desire, like kind of falling into that survival mode and
Mhm.
wanting to have everything taken care of.
Yes.
that desire kind of pulled itself in there, and then it kind of caused
I guess some people
things
would
to.
say, why didn't she behave though? If you had everything, if you were on top of the world, why didn't you behave?
So our subconscious likes to just,
Sabotage.
sabotage. And if we see something like, him getting, I wonder if him getting sober, because it's interesting that she hit his meds. Him getting sober could have jeopardized that, because now that I think about it, right before, did I tell you about this? They all started, there's that whole recording of him saying, she said that she was essentially upset because he gave him a certain amount of time before they had to leave the penthouse. Or he spoke to her and said, I'm
You can
willing
have
to work
months.
with you.
Yeah.
And then all of this came out right after. So I kind of wonder if his sobriety started kind of taking away basic survival needs.
Well, and he was on and off sober, and you remember the testimony when he was saying he's trying to break himself of his addiction. They were going to do a detox, and he said it's extraordinarily painful, and she wouldn't let him. She had to go with him, first of all, which he said that he didn't want her to go with him, but she insisted, and she took the place of his sister. And like you said, she hid his meds and said he couldn't have them. He says, but I need them right now. She says, no, you're going to wait the time. And he had to burn himself, physically burn from hot scalding water to trick his receptors to believing that, it's focused on that instead of the addiction. Do we want to continue?
Oh gosh.
In for a penny.
When you wrote this op-ed, it was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not. Of course not. It wasn't about him. This was a hoax, is according to his team. Why didn't I cooperate with the police? As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known. I didn't want to cooperate with them because I didn't want this to be, I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later,
Yeah.
court, and it came out.
That doesn't make any sense. Well, that was that because she had that list of demands, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had a list of demands from her lawyer because she panicked, the abandonment issues, right? The deep-seated abandonment issues. The night that he said, it's done, we're over, I'm getting a divorce. She panicked, called her lawyer, and had them draft what she wants in place of, what she's entitled to. She gets $50,000 a month in perpetuity, meaning it never has an ending date. $50,000 a month, so $600,000 a year for the rest of her life. She wants cars, the gas to go along with it, all the amenities, and 3 of his 5 penthouses. So she can keep her family in there rent free.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't do it. And she says, well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna go file a TRO.
And then after she did all that, that's when he said that essentially she's going to be torn apart. It wasn't like he said that like before in the relationship.
Right.
It was after, like, I'm all right, I'm going to go do this. Then that's when he's like, all right, you're going to be, if you want to do this, then do this. But
And then she lured him after the TRO, right? Like it was it his a hotel?
it was it was a hotel room.
She was able to sneak into his hotel room. He's like, what are you doing? And she's like, no, this isn't over. We can just start over. And she's like, do you still love me? This is after all of everything.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit that
Girl, you cray.
I do understand that whole losing everything and then you're trying to
Hold on
do
to some
everything you can to
semblance
hold
of
on.
sanity.
Oh, interesting thing.
That's what he's in the audio. He's like, are you kidding me right now? Like, look what you did to me. Like, no.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself. You can't get a restraining order in private, which of course I didn't understand the night when the cops were called.
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off
Mm-hmm.
when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be.
Yep.
Did you tip off TMZ?
I was going to say, he certainly didn't get tipped off by me or anyone in my.
You know, tip off
Absolutely.
TMZ.
Why would they? No.
Or anyone in my group.
Why would they?
You didn't take it back. You didn't sue them. They would not be able to have that copyright unless they got ownership.
And she never questioned who tipped them off, which I thought was
Weird.
her
Who did
lawyer's
that?
trying to work with TMZ. I forget his name, but getting him to not be able to speak pretty much just showed their guilt right away. There was
Yeah,
like,
yep.
why would you have, you would want that out then if you're not the one that gave them the paper, the pictures,
Yeah, she doesn't see
or
it.
not the pictures, or the placement, I should say, for the pictures.
Tried to before. It had nothing to do with me.
There are different incidents that you testified to, and the Depp legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following and
No bruises.
saying,
Mhm.
why are there no bruises?
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake. If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
There's a generic answer. She's deflecting. Here's the thing. During the trial, she was wearing makeup. She said she was wearing makeup. She made it a point to say she was wearing makeup. She couldn't hide the bags under her eyes, but she's saying that the magic of makeup could cover broken noses, two black eyes, and repeated punches to the face on multiple occasions, because apparently this was a normal thing. I'm just saying. Her face would have been swollen in some capacity. And she said, ice. Like, girl, ice only does so much.
And that only makes sense with light. Like if you're working with a picture and lighting, that makes sense. But when you're walking around people, you're gonna see the amount. I can put on a crap ton of makeup and like cake it on and have the right lighting, and then
Right.
bam, you can't see anything. But when I walk in public like that, it's gonna be a little obvious.
Obvious. Right.
Either I have really cakey makeup or you're just gonna see everything. There's not.
And that's the thing, cakey makeup, because light makeup is not going to cover it. And remember,
Nope.
they testified, the makeup artist testified that it was just a little heavier than a tint.
Yeah, and her tinted what is that, moisturizer?
Right. The BB cream.
You had promised to donate $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
Yes.
I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature.
When
And
you say I donated,
Oh my God, you said the answer so much quicker than her.
you donated it, not that you pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
Yeah.
I don't know, because so much of I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar, and
Don't you
everything.
think yes?
And that was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
Why couldn't she just say yes or no to either one of those questions? Why did we not? We never gave an answer. Oh, she did.
It was like they were supposed to call me a liar. Like, that's a trial. What was the first half of that?
She was asking about the pledge,
The
the
pledge
donation.
versus donated.
And that was it. This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did,
Right, which is where
That's the testimony. You said you did. I shouldn't have had to. Well, then don't say that you
No,
were going to
don't
do it.
say it. I'm not gonna tell my kids that I'm gonna take them to the park tomorrow and then be like, well, I shouldn't have had to tell you that I was gonna take you to the park for you to get excited about going to the park.
No, but exactly. I understand. Oh, I shouldn't have had to donate all of it. You said it, therefore you have to follow through.
I did the right thing. I did everything I could to stand up for myself and the truth.
on the first day of the trial,
She really believes this, though. That's what's crazy.
that I still have love for Johnny.
Yes,
Is that still true?
yes,
Wow.
Everything.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love him. I
Wow.
loved him with all my heart.
He gave you 2 broken nose, 2 black eyes. He supposedly violated you with a bottle, broken bottle, beat out of you multiple times. 9 years later, after all that reflection and you're out of the trauma phase, you love him, present tense.
I feel like there's some hope.
He'll get back together. Like, see,
Yeah.
we could start all over. That to me tells me that if she still loves him in present tense, then he never laid a hand on her. 9
Mhm.
years later, after somebody beats you, 9 years later, are you going to seriously sit there and consider a relationship?
No. That or she is mentally ill to the point where she's fantasizing a lot of things, but that also leads to fantasizing of other things. So it's or romanticizing is the word I wanted to say, romanticizing.
Histrionic.
Borderline.
That's what
Yep.
it was. The
There you go.
histrionic disorder. That's when you're sitting there, you're very dramatic. You want to be the center of attention. You have to have the limelight. Tell us in the comments, what do you think about all this? Is there gonna be repercussions? I think that maybe perhaps she's gonna end up with a cease and desist order. I know Elaine just did. That's why you haven't seen her on any more interviews, because they were like, you can't do this. You're a lawyer and you can't do this.
I think
Oh,
that
my
this is-
future prediction. I
Oh.
think because she has to be in the limelight, because she's not, unless she's court ordered, she's not going to seek professional help for the BPD or the histrionic, because she doesn't think she has a problem, which is, to be fair, psychology 101. My prediction is that she's not done. She's going to keep throwing it to the wall, trying to see what sticks, and doing what she can to avoid getting into major trouble. But she's going to keep throwing suits at him wherever she can.
I don't think
She's
she's
writing a
gonna.
book. She says she
Yeah,
has nothing to lose. She has nothing to lose. She's writing a book about the whole trial. Girl, why would
that.
you put a press release out? Why would you let them know what your next move is?
Yeah, I could see a cease and desist on that. I mean, considering the fact that she did.